Hi everyone, this is Heba from My Little Journal, and today I'm sharing a new type of video with you. I was asked by the amazing Simone and Suzanna to be their first guest on their new Scale It Down series. This is all about documenting or creating in your traveler's notebook and scaling down your traditional 12 by 12 layouts. Now you get 5 prompts every month. I know they will be posting once a month, and you will get 5 prompts that you have to use on your layout. Now the 5 prompts are alpha stickers, labels, cut apart sheets, roller stamp, and washi tape. So this was kind of a little challenge for me because there's certain things I don't usually use on my spreads, like washi tape and the roller stamp, little things like that, but I'm going to make it work. I love a good challenge. So I'm just sharing the things I might be using on my spread because I did go through my stash and chose the prompts that I thought would work with my layout. I'm going to start by sticking down this beautiful picture of my daughter, this 4x8 picture of my daughter. Now I always recommend that if you are scaling down from a 12 by 12 layout and you want to start working in Traveler's Notebook, is to start with a large picture. If you start with a large picture, it's not as intimidating because you're really working on one side of your spread. So really your whole spread ends up being, what is that, a 4x8. And that's a small area to work with, and it's not as intimidating as working on 2 spreads or 2 pages. So I definitely recommend starting with a large picture. It really helps. Anyways, I want to start working on my layout. I decided to use my Illustrated Faith paper pad and use these 2 pattern papers. Now I really loved the heart pattern, but I felt like it was a little bit too busy for me. I always feel when you're working in a small space like a traveler's notebook, you really have to consider all the extra embellishments you're going to add and the layers, so you really don't want to start with a busy pattern. So to break it down, I decided to trim down the heart pattern paper and then use this other pattern paper that looked like brushed on paint for the other half of my layout. And that way I cut down the pattern, the busy pattern, but I'm still able to use that beautiful pattern paper. I will go ahead and start sticking them down. Now because I use 2 sheets and there's going to be this little line between my 2 pattern papers, well, let's say that drives me crazy. I don't like to see that line on any of my spreads, so I decided to use my first prompt, which is add washi tape, and I'm going to add some washi tape right in the middle to kind of cover that line that I created by using 2 different pattern papers. Now after I stuck down that washi tape, I felt like it was not enough. I think I was going for something more bolder, so I decided to use this other one. I will trim it in half and add that right in the center of my first washi. And I felt like it gave more of a bold look, so I'm happy with that. But I want to start using my prompts, and I'm going to grab all the that little stash that I already went through. And I'm going to start adding some labels. I'm going to add some circles from a cut apart sheet, just little things. I want to create a cluster. At first I thought I could create it on the bottom of my spread, but it ends up moving to the center where I added that washi tape strip. I felt like maybe my cluster should go around that area. I think it just looked better. So everything is going to move back up, and I'm going to start adding all these little labels and all these little things that I cut out from my cut apart sheets and start creating my little cluster of embellishments. I recommend that if you are a 12 by 12 traditional scrapbooker and you want to start working in a traveler's notebook, but you just don't know how to start, where to start, I recommend that you use a sketch just like you would for a 12 by 12, but use that 12 by 12 sketch to create in a traveler's notebook. All you're doing is you're just shrinking your space. And if you notice, a lot of us, when we create in 12 by 12 layouts, we have a lot of white space. We'll actually use a photo and embellishments and add everything in one corner of our spread, let's say, and then the rest is complete white space. So in the end, you're just doing the same thing but in a traveler's notebook, and you just don't have all that white space. So think about it that way. Don't feel overwhelmed. Just try to create what you usually create in a 12 by 12, but you're doing it in a smaller version and in your traveler's notebook. Believe me, once you try a traveler's notebook, you will be hooked. So try that out. I definitely recommend that you just go for it and not think too much about it. But anyways, while I was blabbing on, I got to use some more of my prompts. I used some labels. I used my cut apart sheet and added them to that little cluster of embellishments. I want to stamp. I'm going to be using my Fiji Craft, I think it's called Snow Day stamp set, and I will stamp out these little mittens on some scrap paper. Now, one thing I love about traveler's notebooks that I get to use a lot of my scraps because the space is so small. So when you have those extra pattern papers that you cut for a project, or you just have those extra patterns that you just don't know what to do with, this is a good place to add them. Use your scraps in your traveler's notebooks because the space is so small. You don't need a lot of pattern paper to add to your spread. I will be stamping my title, but before I do that, I decided to use my roller stamp, which is my 4th prompt, to stamp favorite a bunch of times on this little banner. I decided to use my Studio Calico one because it had really cute words. So I thought favorite, because this is my favorite picture, that would work really well. But anyways, I'm using my Fiji Craft narrow alpha stamps and outline to stamp out hashtag Snow Day with some black ink and gray ink right, kind of close to my cluster. I am done stamping out my title, and I have one more prompt to add, and that's add alpha stickers. So I'm gonna use my white Kelly Perky alphas for this, and I'm gonna spell out love right above my daughter's head. I really like how this turned out. It kind of looked like I stamped it and not used stickers. So I really enjoyed that. I think it was a nice touch to my picture. But I'm looking at my cluster of embellishments and I feel like it's very blah. I want it to be bolder. So I decide to go back into my embellishments. I'm gonna add some flowers and puffy stickers and things like that, but I still feel like it's missing something. So I decide to add a doily, just a half a doily to the edge of my spread and make my cluster larger. I end up using a lot of my Tim Holtz word stickers in black and white, and it's gonna look like a stripe or a strip, of words coming down. It's hard to explain, but you're gonna see how it turns out. It turns out pretty cool, and I feel like that cluster ended up looking bold and how I envisioned it. But you're gonna be surprised. I end up journaling a little bit on my page. Now, I decided to do this because I got these erasable pens from this company called Parco, and I felt like because they're erasable, I can journal. You guys know I don't journal on my spreads because I hate my handwriting, and I feel like I don't really have a story to tell because I have these pictures documented in my project life and in my daily journal and things like that. But I felt like because these are erasable, that if I do mess up or I don't like it, I can erase it, and they actually do work. They're amazing. So I might be journaling more often on my spreads. We'll see. But anyways, I am almost done. I wish I added splatter, so I might be doing that later because I feel like this layout needed splatter. So you might see that in the pictures once I'm done with this video. But you guys, I'm going to add all the information about Simone and Suzanna down below, and their scale it down information about their new series. If you want to watch their collaboration videos, I will add everything down below. Don't forget to check them out. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up, and if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing, and I hope to see you guys very soon. Bye!